Hello everybody, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Got a great video for you this morning. Asking the hard question here, why hasn't the secret police been arrested after it was proven they were involved in the capital murder attempt of a citizen? Okay, it just makes sense that if they do this once, they'll do 100 times, and I got a feeling they have. Okay. Here, let's just jump right into this fact-filled section right here. Short read, and basically it doesn't matter what I say, what other people say. This is what the evidence shows, okay? This is what happened. On January 28, 2012, I was ambushed and shot by somebody under my home with burglar alarms going off in the attic and my phone lines cut in a home invasion and premeditated capital attempted murder. Absolute proof shows I was not shot with my gun. We know for a fact somebody shot me. Prior to the shooting, the would-be killer stole my cell phone, disconnected my home phone lines, and terminated the recording on my security camera in my bedroom at 8:07. I had been reporting burglaries to my home for over a year by this time. I was then shot from point-blank range by a .45 handgun loaded with a pellet-filled plastic-tipped bullet called the Glaser Safety Slug to make it appear that I'd been shot with my shotgun. This was premeditated, cold-blooded murder. A burglar was trapped in my guest bathroom at this time, but I didn't know this until after I returned from the hospital, okay? After I returned from the hospital in February 2012 and now crippled for life, I saw myself crawling out at 10:42 p.m. and then leaving on my front security cameras. At 11:01, 19 minutes later, two law enforcement officers arrived while driving with the spotlight on. My front security cameras were disabled at 11:22, another 20 minutes later, when they rotated the cameras to look at the wall. This allowed unmonitored entry and exit from my home. Okay. The security camera that was connected to my computer in my bedroom started working at 3:16 a.m. when the police rebooted my computer in an effort to disable this camera. They didn't know they had started the camera that would catch them stealing my spare shotgun shells and planting my stolen cell phone behind the nightstand of the bed. They were staging the crime scene of a capital murder attempt. They never planned on anybody knowing they were in my home that night since they were illegally withholding the police report. My private investigator at the time was Larry Carlisle, who was recommended to me by now Judge Sari Billingsley. She was an attorney in Odessa that I had went and seen. He gets me a form to request the police reports. I received several reports, including one that was for 129/12, the day after the murder attempt, but I didn't get the report for 128/12, the day of the murder attempt. I didn't know it existed since I didn't get it. And that report contained information for both 128/12 and 129/12. Because what happened at 12 o'clock, I'm shot at 10:42, or crawling out at 10:42. At 12 o'clock, it's a new day. Okay, so then it's 129. Well, they just kept the information on the same report, and they gave me the one for the next day, 129, which had no police. So the one my camera showed timestamp police in my home for 129, and the police report that I got for 129 didn't have any police on it. Okay, you see, that's what happened. But their names were on the 128 police report, and that one they were withholding. In December 2013, a subpoena was issued requesting that MPD, the Midland Police Department, turn over all police reports so my attorneys could prepare for the bizarre protective order hearing that the ex-wife had filed. Okay, remember, she had filed that protective order when she lived 100 miles away, and I hadn't seen her, talk to her in a year and a half. I thought it was pretty much just to smear my name as all it was for. MPD provided many reports, but the report for the night of the murder attempt was illegally withheld. Once again, I didn't know it existed, okay? Because they were ordered by a judge, by a subpoena, by the law to provide us them reports so we could prepare for a hearing, and they illegally, blatantly snuffed their nose at the law and withheld that police report. And why? Because it was incriminating to the police. And of course, that just makes that whole protective order just bullshit's what it was. We didn't even have the evidence we needed. Since I had pictures of police and no report, this is what caused me to nickname them the secret police and offer a award to get them identified. In 2016, I sent an email to DA Laura Nodoff, Mayor Morales, and each member of the City Council, Chief of Police Bryce Robinson, Sheriff Gary Painter, the Attorney General of Texas Paxton, and the Texas Rangers, and others, which was titled 2,000 Reward for Information, Corrupt Police. This email started with information to identify corrupt police. I got no replies. I'm going to show you that in a minute. In 2018, 6 years after the murder attempt, Empire Private Investigations collected the $2,000 reward and identified the 11 secret police that had been caught at my home planting evidence and staging the crime scene of this capital murder attempt. That was 6 years later. This was unprecedented. Never happened before in the history of America. A crime victim offered a reward to identify police. This is when it was learned the first law enforcement officer seen arriving on video was Martin County Sheriff John Woodward, and this is Midland County. He wasn't dispatched. He was followed by the late Sheriff Deputy Mike Naylor, who just happened to die in the line of duty in 2014 when I had a reward offered for his identity. Public was never told that. Seen inside my home was Midland Canine Police Officer Chad Simpson, who was alleged to have murdered his wife and then killed himself 2 months after Naylor died. And once again, I had a reward offered for his identity, and the public was never told that. Now we have 2 secret police dead and a policeman's wife connected to the crimes at my house. In 2019, I found out there was a police report all along that had been illegally withheld. 6 of the 11 officers seen on cameras had their names that had not been dispatched, and they had their names illegally omitted from the report. That's felonies. They falsified the report. More importantly, it timestamped 5 police officers, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale, at or in my home when they were not seen arriving on the security cameras that had seen Woodward and Naylor just minutes earlier. Lieutenant Tony Dickey was inside my home at 11:05 p.m. per that police report that we got 7 years later, when he wasn't seen arriving on the security cameras that saw Woodward and Naylor at 11:01 p.m. just 4 minutes earlier. Okay, so is he like Star Trek and he just materialized in my home? No, it didn't. All of my other windows and doors were secured with extra locks due to the crimes I had been reporting to the police, and it was noted on the police report. So this is what proved that he came into my home from a hidden trap door, which the ex-wife had already told me about. These are the facts, and this means that police were under my home, and it was somebody under my home that had shot me, and that's not on the police report. And so there you go, folks. That's what we're talking about. Why haven't these police been arrested in this premeditated capital attempted murder? This meme I created because on the left-hand side, it shows the first 2 police officers arriving right here. That's Woodward and Naylor at 11:01. There's the timestamp, okay? And then 4 minutes later, the police report at 11:05 is showing Tony Dickey right here inside my home, because he says no one in the house, inside, and lots of odd things like booby traps. That was a lie by Tony Dickey. He's a liar, and because there is no booby traps in evidence. I had no booby traps. Just more lies to cover up this premeditated murder. The big question is, how did Tony Dickey get inside my home when he wasn't seen arriving on the security cameras that saw Woodward and Naylor 4 minutes earlier? We know he didn't come in the windows and the doors, right? And then that was the point, that he didn't come in the windows and doors, so he came in from under my home. Police were under my home. Somebody under my home had shot me by surprise with my phone lines cut. That don't mean police shot me, but we don't know who the shooter is yet, but we can bet they do, okay? And that's why they need to be arrested. My next comment is, since I had pictures of police and no report, this is what caused me to nickname them the secret police and offer a reward to get them identified. In 2016, I sent an email to District Attorney Laura Nodoff, Mayor Morales, each member of the City Council, Chief Robinson, Sheriff Painter, A.G. Paxton, Texas Rangers, and others that was titled $2,000 Reward for Information, Corrupt Police. This email started with information to identify corrupt police. Okay, these are people that are supposed to uphold the law, folks, right? And look what I'm sending them, and they just ignored it. Interestingly, I saw in the news yesterday that papers were filed to remove District Attorney Laura Nodoff from office, and she was one of the people on this email from 2016 about these extremely corrupt police. Thus, why hasn't the secret police been arrested and charged after they were caught involved in a capital attempted murder? Here's the email right here, okay? Here's the title. $2,000 reward for corrupt police. Here it starts with reward to identify corrupt police. I'm offering a $2,000 reward to anybody that can identify the still secret police who were caught on camera on 12812 and 12912 in my home. And look who it was sent to. I'm going to go here close up on this thing. And here we go. Here's a reporter with AP. That's Associated Press. Okay. The Statesman's another press agency. Laura Nodoff, the current district attorney. Will Lundy, J. Ross Lacey, Jeff Sparks, Jerry Morales, he was the mayor. Them were all city council members. John Love, city council. Dufford, he is currently a city council member and was a city council member. He got this email in 2016. Charlotte Hotchkiss, Spencer Robneck, Moore City Council. Price Robinson was the chief of police. Gary Painter is the late sheriff. And remember, Lozano, Sheriff Canada Lozano said he used to hang out in the underground homes. Ain't that amazing? Okay. The New York Times got this. It was sent to Ken Paxton, the Attorney General of Texas, and is supposed to uphold the law in Texas. It was sent to U.S. Inspector General Michael Horowitz, the Office of the U.S. Inspector General, the Texas Rangers, and verification at the Texas Medical Board. Remember, I had sent the Medical Board proof of horrific medical crimes. They did nothing with it. I wanted to show you that. I want to show you the evidence. And they should be questioned. Did you get this? What did you do about it? Because that's their job. These are elected officials and law enforcement officers. The next one's here. I've had DA Laura Nodoff's email for a long time, and I recently sent her a long fact-filled message about the crimes committed by Midland Police Department that you would expect a DA to act on, but she didn't. I plan on making that letter public soon, and I am. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to go through and I'm going to review every email that between myself and Laura Nodoff. She's replied to me before on my email. Okay, so this was filed yesterday. Petition filed to remove Midland County District Attorney Laura Nodoff, and that was by David Wilson and his legal team. And David Wilson was the guy. What happened was his security company dispatched the police to his house without him knowing, and the police tried to enter his house, and he thought it was a burglar, and he shot a police officer and killed him. It was 100% total accident, and then the DA's office tried to send him to prison for the rest of his life for that accident. In the left-hand column is the secret police as identified by the PI in 2018. In the middle column is the names of the police listed on the long-withheld police report. I didn't get this until 2019, 7 years after the murder attempt. The third column was the second entry to my home and was supposed to be the only known entry, but those police had accidentally started the camera and caught themselves covering up this capital attempted murder. This is lawlessness, okay? So this little spreadsheet just lays it out that the first column is identified by the private investigator, that he collected the $2,000 reward money. Notice two of them are dead, okay? Ain't they real interesting, okay? And then the middle column is the names that were on the long withheld police report. Now remember, there were 11 police caught on camera, and there ain't 11 names on that police report, right? And so right off the bat, they're falsified the police report. That's all there was to it. And you can, and I'm listing out here they're not seen on camera, not seen on camera, not seen on camera, etc. Okay. So you have all these police officers that are not on the police report, but they were here identified by the PI. And I want to say, if the private investigator lied, then he could lose his license, lose his business, and be arrested. That's all there is to it, Police report for 2/1/20, 3 days later, here's the names. Rosie Rodriguez, Brian Raquel, Dylan Hale. This was supposed to be the only known entry after they had staged the crime scene. I believe they had already poured concrete, covered up the trapdoor entrance at this time. Rosie had planted my cell phone behind my nightstand. She got caught on camera doing that, and then they had stole my spare shotgun shells from a home because they knew that it would prove that I wasn't shot with my gun, making this a murder attempt. Okay, so there's the names. Why haven't they been arrested? That's the $1 million question, ain't it? Well, doesn't it make sense? They do this every single day. They accidentally started a security camera that they were trying to disable and unknowingly caught themselves. I wondered if this was the first capital crime they've been covered up, or if they've been other capital crimes. And I suspect there has. I got a feeling these same secret police were at the oil show party in 2010 that Angie told me about, when the young girl was murdered. They covered up her murder. I got a feeling they covered up the murder of Mike Lawn, the guy that lived here before I lived here, and I was told 4 people had been murdered, died in my house. These were the pictures that went round the world. $2,000 to identify the secret police. Never heard, it's never happened before ever, And so here's right from the private investigator. He texts me. I copy and pasted over here. Rosie Rodriguez, April Chandler. They were the 2 that we could recognize. You could see their faces right there. All these are, and they're 2 of the main players. Extremely dirty cops, proven to tamper with evidence, lie on police report, perjure themselves in court, etc. Tony Dickey, first one in my house. Greg Chatwell, Greg Nelson, Marty Barrett, a crime scene investigator. Now imagine a crime scene investigator tampering with evidence in a capital murder attempt of an innocent homeowner that had been reporting crime to police. Don't you think he's done that before? And I bet you people have gone to prison over his testimony about evidence. Chad Simpson, he's the cop that was alleged to have murdered his wife and killed himself. Some people wondered if Naylor's the next one, if they wasn't going to snitch on them other secret police and they were taken out and it was covered up by police. Because ain't nobody can cover up a murder like police. They're the ones that have sole access to the crime scene. Mark Gilliam, Michael Glick, and John Woodward, sheriff from a whole nother county's at my home minutes after a murder attempt. Nobody's ever explained that one. It's just lawlessness is what's going on. Absolute 100% lawlessness. It's never ended. Okay. This guy, he writes and says, I don't know, but there seems to be a lot of stuff going on in Midland, And then I said, yeah, I was interested about Nodoff yesterday. Anyway, that's Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Let me know what you think. Share this video.